Throughout the years, Fortnite has had some very iconic locations that have stood the test of time and hold a special place in our hearts. So I thought to myself, what are the best locations of all time? Not my favorite, but what I think are the best, and that's based on a few things. How much loot could I get from the location? How impactful was this location, or continues to be? Was it a hot drop spot, and was it visually pleasing? That's the criteria I will be following as I rank the best Fortnite locations of all time. Now, of course, this is just my opinion, so be sure to let me know what you think are the best locations down in the comments below. Use code TuneSpider in the item shop to support me, and now let's get started. Kicking things off at number 10, we have Steamy Springs. Now this one might surprise you guys a little bit, but hear me out on this real quick. Not only was this location aesthetically pleasing with the beautiful architecture and the cherry blossom trees surrounding it, one of the best and most unique things about this POI was the hot springs themselves and how they could heal you whenever you went and chilled in them. So think about it like this: you dropped at this location, you got a couple eliminations, you're down to 50 health, you could get back to full health when you hopped into those hot springs. Now of course this was more of a relaxed spot compared to others, which is why it's not higher on this list, but there was always 2 or 3 duos or squads that would drop with you at this location. It had great loot. When the kinetic blade was in the game, it had easy access to that. The combination of nature and structures made it one of those places that just felt good to drop into. There was also geysers nearby, so if you needed to rotate far, you could hit those really quick and rotate. And something else that was nice about it is you were only a couple hundred meters away from Mega City. And if you remember from chapter 4, this was one of the locations that had the flags that would drop loot with them as well. So because of all the loot you could get, the unique atmosphere, the architecture to this location, and the unique hot springs, this is why Steamy Springs is at number 10 for me. Coming in at number 9 is the shark. There is no way this location was not going to be on this list. Not only is it iconic because of the huge shark like rock statue that is right on it, and then there's a huge shark's mouth and you can go through there and be closer to the vault. This POI also had henchmen. It was a hot drop. There was 2 mythics here, which was Sky's assault rifle and Sky's grappler. And of course, I'm not talking about the Ice Spice location really, even though I feel like people were being too dramatic about it. Like, it was still really good. It definitely didn't hit the same as the shark, but it still had great loot, had the great mythic. It did smell a little gassy though, like Ice Spice was ripping farts or something. But this was a lot of people's favorite location in chapter 2, or specifically chapter 2 season 2. There was so much loot you could get. It was so fun during the spy season. This was a very fun and unique location. I love the look of the modern building with the shark structure. There was a helicopter pad. You were surrounded by water. Overall, it was a great location and made complete sense for the shark. At number 8, we have Mega City. Easily one of the most vibrant and visually pleasing locations of all time. This was the most like futuristic, high-tech locations we've ever seen. It was a huge city with neon lights, tall skyscrapers, awesome grind rails that were so fun to hop on. There was really cool digital billboards and holographic visuals that were just awesome to look at. This location was so cool to look at night too. I absolutely love it. There was a vault here. There was great loot. It was visually pleasing. There is something that holds it back a little though. Not all of the buildings you could enter at first. It took a bit to get there, and sometimes for how big the building was, there just wasn't a lot of loot, and sometimes it could be difficult to navigate, but it was still a hot drop spot. I absolutely loved rotating to it unless someone was camping on top of a building with a sniper. It was fun to have fights in. It was fun to go through the grind rails. Overall, Mega City was the place to be for a dynamic and modern twist on the usual Fortnite drops. I absolutely loved the futuristic neon vibrance to it. Coming in at number 7, we have the Agency. This is another location where there was no way it was not going to be in the top 10. Besides maybe Tilted Towers, this might be one of the hottest drops of all time in Fortnite. Most of the lobby was going there. They wanted to get Midas's drum gun. You could change into a henchman through one of the booths. There was little vent tunnels that you could crawl through to find different loot or get into different rooms. Of course, there were henchmen that roamed around. There was a vault. It was just one huge building in the middle of the map, and it was absolutely perfect. You had the spy music going. The vibe of it was incredible. There's so much to truly love about this location, and if you won this spot, you were walking away with one of the best mythics of all time and a bunch of loot from the vault. I also think the architecture of this building was visually perfect for chapter 2 season 2, which is why the Agency is in my top 10 at number 7. At number 6, we have a fan favorite since day one, going back to chapter 1 season 1, we have Pleasant Park, and for good reason. It's just got that classic Fortnite vibe to it. It's been in chapter 1, it's been in chapter 2, it's been in Fortnite Reload. One of the best things about Pleasant Park is like that home neighborhood feeling to it. You have this soccer field, you have the little park in the middle, you have all of the houses that surround it. You can get solid loot from these houses, and then you can also get in quick fights right away for quick eliminations. Whether you're playing solo or in squads, Pleasant Park has always been a popular drop since since early chapter 1. And yeah, the architecture might not be as visually pleasing, it might not be as beautiful or as vibrant, but it just has that classic Fortnite feeling to it. It's one of those spots that OGs love to call home, which is why Pleasant Park is at number 6. At number 5, we have the Grotto. Yes, the third chapter 2 season 2 location on here. Let's just say that season had some incredible POIs. In my opinion, this was actually the best location from that season. It was a secret layer dug into the ground. Brutus had the minigun. There was a vault. It was so fun to drop down into there and sneak around, get a booth and pretend to be one of the henchmen. I also think they did a good job with it in chapter 2 remix. I feel like Eminem's Mom Spaghetti was perfect for it, and it still had that same feeling from chapter 2 season 2 in my opinion. I also like the side cave entrance where the reboot van was. This was overall just an amazing POI. And then there was a huge like vent that I guess you could call it, where you could fly out of it and rotate to circle, or you could also grab the helicopter if it was still there. It was perfect because it was a hot drop, but you could also pull off sneaky plays, and there was also a lot of loot and there was a lot of space in this POI. Plus it was just fun to drop down into the island underground. I love that aspect of it. So the Grotto is at number 5 for me. Number 4 brings us to one of the best OG locations in my opinion, and that is Retail Row, another iconic location that's seen it all. It's seen chapter 1, it's seen chapter 2, it's seen Fortnite Reload, and it's lasted that long for good reason because it is a great location. Now, similar to Pleasant Park, it might not be like the most vibrant or the wildest location, but I love the simplicity of it and that classic OG Fortnite feel to it. You're always going to get really good loot from this location. You're always going to get in fights. There's always going to be a good amount of solos, duos, trios, squads, whatever you're playing. There's always going to be people rotating to this spot as well. You're never going to get bored here. And I just love the vibe of Retail Row, of having like this little neighborhood and then a little retail shopping section. You have the grocery store, you have like the pro shop, you have a little coffee place. Overall, I just think it's a great location. I really think it gets the job done, which is why I have Retail Row at number 4. All right, before we move on to the top 3, if you're enjoying this video, make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel. I'm on the road to 10K subscribers. And if you want to join my Discord server, that link is going to be in the description of this video. But coming in at number 3, Paradise Palms. This desert themed location was the ultimate vibe in chapter 1 season 5. It had great loot. Everybody was dropping here if they weren't dropping tilted towers, and it changed the dynamic of the chapter 1 map because you had another hot drop that was further away from the middle of the island. You really could find some of the best loot here. You have the huge hotel, you have the houses, you have a coffee shop, you have a car shop, you have a place where people can game. There's palm trees everywhere, there's a pool. It just has an incredible vibe to it. And like I mentioned, there's so many places to loot. It's a good drop spot. It's a hot drop. It's back in Reload on one of the maps, which is incredible because I missed Paradise Palms, and I really think it stood the test of time, which is why I think it's the 3rd best location of all time in Fortnite's history. At number 2, we have Stark Industries. And this one really changed the game when it dropped. It was absolutely insane dropping here. And I love the fact that you could get purple or gold pumps as soon as you opened a Stark chest when you landed. There were Stark robots all over. You could see the Iron Man suits everywhere. It was easy to get the Stark rifle. It was a hot drop. It was a very high stake drop because there was the mythic there as well, and a vault. I feel like most of the lobby was definitely dropping here because you were on this huge like mini island on top of the Fortnite island already. Plus the surrounding area was really cool. There was a cabin, there was a lake, you had beautiful trees. The high-tech Stark building was really cool. There was just so many good memories at this drop spot. So much incredible loot, which is why Stark Industries is the 2nd best location of all time. Now, before we get to number 1, I want to mention a few honorable mentions that almost made this list, and that's Greasy Grove, Polar Peak, Eclipse Estate, and Fencing Fields. I think all of those locations are worthy of being in this top 10 list. They just barely did not make it. Now, here we are at number 1. I think a lot of you are not going to be surprised. There's a big reason why it's at number 1, and that's Tilted Towers. I mean, this is the hottest drop of hot drops. Some people feared going here. Some people absolutely love going there and getting in the action right away. It is the king of Fortnite locations, or I guess you could call it the Nikkei 30 of Fortnite location. Tilted Towers is all you could hear about in early Fortnite days, and there's a reason why it's came back so much. Like, it was in chapter 1, chapter 3, it's in Reload, and it's going to be here in a few days for the OG mode. It's just an incredible location. It's action packed. Your adrenaline's pumping while you're here. There's so many great memories. You can get so much loot. There's just so much insane fighting that happens. When you drop in, there's 100 people, and by the time you're leaving Tilted Towers, if you even need to, there's like 15-20 people left. It's crazy how fast time goes by. There's so many people rotating into this spot as well, and no matter how many times it's been rebuilt, how many times it's come back, it's always going to be that drop spot. It's always going to be that hot spot to go to. Even if the novelty is worn off a little bit because it's come back so much, people are still going to drop there all the time, which is why I think Tilted Towers is the greatest Fortnite location of all time. But there you have it. That is my top 10 best Fortnite locations of all time. I mean, these places are more than just drop spots. They definitely help make Fortnite as special as it is. But do you agree with this list? What locations do you think are the best in Fortnite history? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace.